Good evening, dear ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to talk with you about the social patterns of behavior, healthy cliches that each of us must have to have a right, appropriate behavior in different situations and in different places. There are always a problem that children, they don't really know how to behave in this or that situation. When they're in the theater, for example, or in the restaurant, it's obvious that the behavior must be different from the situation when the children are outside, in the garden, in the yard. But of course, we need first to explain them how to behave, what can be done and what not. There is always a certain set of rules and patterns of behavior which is called etiquette. In every culture, in every country, there is a certain set of rules. And etiquette was taught initially to a child from the early childhood all the time. So then when he is an adult, he knows for sure what to do and how to behave in different situations with different people. That is why today we are going to touch this topic as the problem of adapting in society, which is called socialization, is very important for many parents, because many of us think that the earlier the child go out to the society and be connected to different social groups, the better it will be for his socialization. But it is not like that. It's a big misconception. Because during the childhood till the 7 years, the psyche of a child is just formed. And he is always looking around trying to find the right examples and the right cliches of behavior. And the responsibility of parents and grandparents to give these right examples to a child. Because we all know that children are 100% imitative. And if we just push them away, and give them the full freedom of how to behave, looking around at other children and other adults, we'll then get the result like this. I think you've heard about these situations. Oh my goodness, my child was so calm, was so obedient, he was so nice, he never tell any rude word. And now he came back home and I don't know what happened to him, really, I don't know. Because he started screaming immediately when he entered the room. Then he said rude words. I don't even know from where did he take these rude words. We in our family never say these words even to each other. Even when we are alone, we have the certain etiquette of behavior in our house. But of course, if the child was together with some other children whom you don't know how they were brought up, what happens in their families, and of course he just saw these types of behavior, and it's mostly popular in kindergartens, and he brought these types of behavior to your family. And it's not a real surprise, and of course it's responsibility of parents to control this. That is why there is no reason to punish the children for that. Because it was the mistake of parents that they just push away a child and let him be with other parents and with other children, the etiquette and culture of whom they don't know. And when a child already knows certain cliches of behavior, for example, when he goes to the theater, he calm inside, he doesn't worry, he feels no any excitement about what will be, I don't know, oh, I go to the theater, but how to behave? There is a big problem and a big question for the children. But if they have certain patterns of behavior, it was already discussed with the parents, he's calm inside, he's peaceful, he knows that when he comes in, he knows the theater will be like that, there will be beautiful around, all the people will behave politely, and he needs to give his clothes, then to go to the hall, then to sit down, and even if there will be some unpolite children who doesn't know any patterns of behavior and they will run around and scream, he won't repeat this behavior because these etiquette patterns are already inside him, deeply inside him, and he knows that it is the truth, that he must behave like that. He must be calm and polite. He must be stabilized. Because his parents are like that, because you already discussed the situation with him, you played like a game. You can even imagine, okay, you come to the theater, how will you behave? And you can behave as a person who is from the theater, and your child will be the person who comes to the theater. And he will show his behavior, you will show your behavior. So for him, it will be like a game. But then later he will repeat these patterns at the theater and will show himself as a polite person who knows how to behave himself adequately and politely in the place. And of course, lately, when, for example, you came back from the theater, you need to discuss with your child. Was it comfortable for him? What did he feel there? How he behaved? What was correct? And maybe there were some moments which were not pleasant for him and not so correct. What do you need to improve? The big question always how to discuss it with the child, how to talk with him about that. Maybe he won't listen. But actually, children, they are very attentive if they feel that you are fully involved in this process. So, of course, there is, like everywhere, there are certain rules of how to talk correctly, being involved into the conversation. First, it is active hearing. I think you all heard about that for many, many times because now active hearing is really popular among business trainers. But you need to remember that business trainers are business trainers, and people from business, they are people from business. But your beloved child is your child, and you need to talk to him like to your child. So active hearing just means that you are active in conversation, that you listen to your child. You can repeat the words after him. You can find a lot of information about that in the internet. So I won't repeat that. Just active hearing as a rule. Then the next very important rule is eye in eye, eyes in eyes, and skin to skin. That means that while talking, you need to look into the eyes of your child. It's exchanging of the energy, first of all, and that information must be given not only through words. So it's not only verbal contact, but it's eye contact. So your information comes directly to your child, and the information from your child goes directly to you. And there is every time the exchange, and your child feels your attention. He feels that you are connected to him, you are interested in him, in what he is talking. Of course, you can say that yes, but it's obvious, it's banal truth. We all know that. Yes, we all know that, but not very often we fulfill that rule. Only if we keep in mind, yes, it's a rule, I need to do this. Sometimes mother or father, they can think, okay, I have a lot to do, I will do it, and exchange our opinions with my child or tell him something what he needs to do. But actually, if you are doing your stuff, talking to your child, you're not really involved in that, and you are not really talking to your child. That means that your child won't listen to you and won't get this information from you, like patterns of behavior, like etiquette. He will just get it as number of words that you are saying. But it won't influence and it won't get the result as you want to get. And tactile contact, I think you also all know about that because thousands and thousands of researches were made about the fact that a lot of diseases and mental diseases arise lately if the child has not enough tactile contact. And now a lot of children are kinesthetic children. And if you won't touch them by the hand, the shoulder, their head, talking about something, they won't even get the information from you. So we can conclude that touching and tactile contact is one of very important things in contacting with your child. And maybe if you remember yourself from the childhood, you will understand how important it was. And a lot of children, they were lack of this tactile contact. That is why now they are quite nervous and don't have peace inside. That is why it's very important that around a child must be also different animals, like dogs, cats, and maybe cows, small calves, so that he can touch them also and get this also tactile contact from them. It will help a lot to bring up a healthy and mentally peaceful child. And we move on in our social patterns of behavior. So we understood that tactile contact is very important, but that doesn't mean that you need, as a parent, all the time hug your child, kiss him, and explain how you love him. Because touching, if I'm talking about hugging, of course it must be it must have every time the borders, because every child needs his personal space and he feels really good in this space. So not do it too much, and you need to look at your child and understand what he really loves. Maybe sometimes it's not necessary and sometimes it's very necessary according to the situation, because every rule has exception and every rule must be used in certain situation, not all the time. Then let's move on to the next part. We'll talk a little bit about going out to society of small children. We can say that there must be like a rehearsal for children before going out. For example, patterns and social cliches of behavior must be given every time and repeated. And then, for example, you go to the friends, it's another family with children and adults. And every time, again, your child should know how to behave. When he enters the house or the apartment of your friends, he needs to say hello or good afternoon. Good afternoon, of course, sounds more beautiful. Then he needs to address a person by his name. And when he starts conversation during any meeting, he needs to talk about the weather, good weather or not so good weather, maybe beautiful flowers which he sees around or on the table, some atmosphere which is around, maybe some beautiful furniture or some beautiful things which are around him in this house or this flat, or some very nice smells, very pleasant smells, because your friends may prepare and cook their tasty cake for you before you come. So the child, and of course you also should pay attention on things around, but not talk about your personal problems or the personal problems of the members of the family to whom you come. And it is one of the main rules which people sometimes do not obey. Or, for example, when a person is given a present, many people, they just take this present, say, okay, thank you very much, and put it away. But it's not right according to the etiquette. The right cliche, the right pattern of behavior is to open the present, to look at it, and then to say thank you very much, and only then put it away. It is the right type of behavior, and your child must know about that from you. Then he will show himself in the right way. Another thing, we need to remember that there are different zones. For example, the closest zone, of course, it's the family. The child, his mother, father, and grandparents. And all the other people, they are not so close. So it's very important that it's not necessary to be completely open to them. And in this case, etiquette and certain patterns of behavior help a lot. Another very important rule, pattern of behavior, is when you are talking to people are talking to you, so it's conversation, and the person asks you something, you need to give an answer, not asking another question as a response. I think you notice that a lot of people, they don't do it. Or if somebody is talking to you, you need to pay attention on that and listen. Listening is very important. A lot of people, they just ignore and they don't want to listen to other people. They just talking by themselves, trying to explain something, waving their hands. But actually, listening, it's one of the pattern of behavior of a polite person who knows the etiquette and who can be easily adapted in society. So you see now that gradually showing a child patterns and cliches of behavior step by step, we give him a right example how to behave in society, and this will help to feel good among other people, and right socialization will happen to him. Otherwise, when a child just push away from the house and say, okay, go to another groups, communicate with people, you need to have socialization and then learn how to do it on your own. It's like you push your child out of the boat into the open sea. So imagine what can happen in this case. If he doesn't know the rules how to swim, of course big problems may arise. And if a child come back to you saying bad words or being rude or being inadequate in his behavior, don't be surprised, because it's your responsibility. I think you've met such cases when children behave in not correct way, not using the etiquette at all, and then a parent say, and he's very proud of himself like a psychologist, not a parent. He behaves not like a parent in this case. He says, okay, and do you want other people to behave like you behaved in this case with you? Do you want to be treated like that?
Oh my goodness, how could you do this? Your behavior is completely inappropriate. It goes far beyond any norms of social behavior. And the child answers, no, of course not. Of course I don't want to be treated like that. But what was wrong? What mistake did I do? How must I behave? What happened? Nobody never told me how to behave in these situations. And the child is right, nobody never taught him, and now his parents are going to punish him for that. And they even look with disdain at their own child, as it was not their responsibility. And in this situation, it is parents who are to blame, and there is nothing to punish a child for.
And one more important moment that I want to share with you today, talking about right adaptation and socialization. Many adults think that if the child is young, he must share his things and his toys, his books with all the other children around. For example, his friends, if he go outside and want for a walk, for example. And it is one of the big misconceptions, because till a child is 5 years old, everything that is around him, his toys, his books, the things that he has in his personal space, he feels like his own body. And when a parent says, okay, John, now go and give this toy to this girl, why not? She wants to play with it. Don't be so greedy, please. Just share. How can you communicate with other children if you don't want to share? It's impossible. And the parent thinks, oh my God, what shall I do? My child doesn't want to share. It's a big problem in our world. No. The big problem is the absence of knowledge about that. Because till 5, everything is a child's body. And if he hears that his parent says, share this toy, for him it's like, share your leg or your hand. It's like a question that he can't pronounce. Why? How? Dear mom, how can I do this? For me, it's impossible. And of course, it's impossible. And after 5, it's already normal. And you can give again the right example and the right pattern of behavior. Organize special birthday, invite guests, and children will come. And your child, who is now 5, he has a special bag with presents. And he shares these presents with all the other guests. So he gives, he learns how to give in the right way, how to share with other people. It is the pleasant feeling already for him, but only from 5 years old, not earlier.
For the child,
it's very important to see everything from outside. So please give right examples. Talk about the different situations with your child. Make rehearsals, make games with them. Play like you go to the theater, you go to the restaurant, you go outside, like he meets with his friends, when of course he's young, elder than 5 years old, how he should behave, what the child should tell to meet people, how to start the conversation, how to get presents. It's very important for a child. If you remember, the animals, they always teach their cubs how to do it. For example, the fox explained that you need to push out your nose only 5 centimeters out of your hole, and then smell what's going on around, then a little bit more and more. So a child should be also ready to go out, not to be pushed out of the boat into the open sea. You need to prepare your child for going out to society. As only then there will be the deliberation in the life, and we teach deliberation and calmness, because it is one of the most important things in our lives. In this way, the life canvas won't be crumbled. It will be peace and right inner state. using this inner state, a person can do everything, can be easily socialized, can be in a good conversation and in a good communication with other people, can reach his goals. So socialization, it is etiquette and right rules of behavior. And the better you prepare your child, the better the socialization will happen. And it is responsibility of parents and grandparents. So please take care of your children and be happy. And we'll see you next time.